Now, what in the Carnival is going on here? More specifically, what is going on board the Carnival Paradise? So I have some family members that are currently on board that ship, and there have been multiple fights and scuffles confirmed on board the ship. I do have some video clips that I'm going to show you that have been sent to me from an anonymous passenger as well as my family members, and well, I think you're going to find it very interesting. Now, full transparency here, I don't have the actual fights per se, but what I do have is the aftermath as well as something that happened in one video clip right before the fight. I had my niece and my sister on board currently, and the anonymous passenger. They tried to get what they can. However, there's so much yelling and screaming and profanity. Keep in mind, guys, there's a lot of naughty sailor words, so you have any kids watching this video, you might want to tell them to skedaddle. One more thing, even though there is no physical altercation taking place in the video clips that I'm going to show you, there is a lot of yelling and screaming, and YouTube is undoubtedly and inevitably and unfortunately going to ban this video to the shadow realm and make sure as many people don't see it as possible. They're also going to demonetize the video. So just understand I'm doing this out of the kindness of my own heart because I love all of you. And by the way, just to keep you guys up to date, I literally just arrived to Paris, Greece in order to board the beautiful, resilient lady in just 2 days. And well, I'm excited. Anywho, enough of this jibber jabber. Let's get to the video clips and we'll talk about the little giblets after.
You got the right fucking one, bitch! Ain't nobody fucking scared of you, bitch! You got the right fucking one, bro! Let's go. Everybody clear that! Let's go. They grabbing it! Get your ass over here! Get my phone! I'll kill that bitch! Get your ass shit off my phone! Get my phone! We're all taking care of it. Get the fuck off! Go! Go! Get my phone! Get her! I don't care, go!
That's why I was smoking with.
Get the fuck out of here now!
Like they wanted to throw some shit.
No!
That dude that was just fighting. The dude in the wheelchair. No, the wheelchair. That's why I left him. He came right up.
Him?
Yes.
Stay here!
This man in this wheelchair right here.
Yes.
Not in front of my kids, you ain't hoe, so I'm gonna make sure I do you good. I'm gonna make sure I do you good, hoe. I'll make sure I do you good and right in front of my kids, bitch. You ain't doing shit, so I'm gonna sit my ass down. My fat ass down, bitch. You're mad. 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 It's still mad. It's still mad.
Fucking jail. Stop.
Is this your shit? Y'all make it here though.
Okay, so there's definitely a lot to unpack here, including some details about a fight between somebody in a wheelchair and somebody not in a wheelchair. But just to give you a little bit of context here, the Carnival Paradise is definitely a more seasoned ship, launched in 1998, and well, it's doing 4-night sailings out of Tampa. I was on board that ship last year, and even when I was on board, unfortunately, there were 2 scuffles, one at the club and one just outside of the club of over somebody taking somebody else's seat and the other one over somebody else looking at somebody else's boyfriend, and well, it just didn't end very well. Now, when it comes to these 2 situations right here, one happened outside of the comedy club in which, like I said, there was a situation where there was apparently a man in a wheelchair getting into a fight with what is believed to be a woman of some sort. Now, that first clip that I showed you was the aftermath. I guess some other people ended up getting involved. And just keep in mind, this is the information that's been given to me by my niece. She's the one that sent me the video clip. And, well, there isn't a whole lot of context. She just knows what she saw because she was actually at the event. And yeah, it's not good. Now, the second clip is believed to be somewhat of a continuation of the wheelchair situation. According to an anonymous passenger that is on board that sent me the other clip, they're stating that apparently the man in the wheelchair got mad at some girls because somebody touched his wheelchair allegedly, and that's what started the whole scuffle. And then, like I said, other people end up getting involved, and that's why you hear all the yelling and cursing and screaming and all the malarkey that's taking place on board. Obviously, I'm in no position to say who was in the right and who was in the wrong here. First of all, you shouldn't be fighting on cruise ships anyway. What month is it? Are we in May? Guys, we are in a break between spring and summertime. What do you guys have to be angry about? You're able to enjoy all the festivities on the off season where you probably have a little bit more time allotted to you where you can actually enjoy everything on board because the ship potentially that is, may not be as full. I don't understand how people get out of a comedy show at that, a place where they're supposed to be laughing, and let's be fair, I do believe Carnival has either the best or the worst comedian. So it can be hit or miss. So typically Carnival's comedians are pretty good, unfiltered, and well, it's usually a pretty good time. So I do wonder what the reason is. Nevertheless, I will say that there should never ever be a fight between somebody in a wheelchair and somebody not in a wheelchair. Well, like I said, a fight between nobody for that matter. And I don't think a fight between two people in a wheelchair would work either. All I'm trying to say is this is ridiculous, and the fact that people are fighting for probably no reason whatsoever, and if somebody is allegedly touching somebody's wheelchair, and I heard some hair may have gotten pulled, if that is truly the situation, then we might as well call this a non-event, and people are fighting and yelling and screaming just to do so. Carnival has made these selfish acts punishable by a fine of up to $500 and potential permanently banning them from Carnival cruise lines. Like I said, and I've been saying this since last year, since Carnival had this crackdown somewhere in the range of like the last quarter of 2022, they need to have a more harsher penalty, at least in the fine category. They're saying $500. In the grand scheme of things, it is a little bit of amount of money, right? It's not like a unnecessarily large amount of money, but it is something that can do some damage as far as like people being deterred away from fighting, but I don't think it is enough. You should make it really hurt. I'm talking about $5,000 to $10,000. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking such things, but as you can see, even with Carnival's crackdown, you're still seeing these fights on board. And keep in mind, like I said, this is like I want to say the softer side of the cruising season. We're in between spring and summer, so what's going to happen during summertime on board these ships? Of course, I have to say it for all the carnies out there that are going to get mad. This is not Carnival's fault. It's not Carnival's fault that bad people get on board. Many people will argue that Carnival should go ahead and raise the price. Maybe that would deter. That is a possibility, I guess. But there are so many factors that are involved with the type of people and demographic that come on board. Many could argue Carnival's policies as far as the type of people that maybe come on board too. There's so many factors, but I do believe it just comes down to people that probably are not ready to be traveling. I would never tell anybody they shouldn't travel. I think travel is the greatest teacher. It's the best education out there, and everybody should do it. However, you got a lot of people that get to these places and these opportunities and simply don't know how to act. I would argue, especially on, let's say, like older Carnival ships, you'll see a lot of, let's say, first-time cruisers and people that have never cruised before, or maybe only cruised one time. And again, they just don't have, I guess, what you would call travel etiquette. Being real here, the reality is that no matter what, there probably will be some type of scuffle on a cruise ship that is maybe doing a shorter itinerary in the range of these 3, 4, and 5 day sailings. We've all been on these ships for the most part, and a lot of people have dubbed these shorter cruises the booze cruises. And well, as far as like advice, a lot of people would say the best way to avoid any fights on board cruise ships oftentimes is to maybe take a longer sailing. Some people advocate for sailing with another line. Personally, as most of you know, and I make this very clear, I love Carnival. Carnival is one of my favorite lines because everybody's so involved. The people there are great, the comedians are great, the food is great, and well, that's just my personal preference on the matter. Carnival is definitely a great line. There is a reason why they are undoubtedly the largest, if not the largest operating line, at least in the United States. So they're there for a reason. But either way, that's all I got to say on this matter, guys. I'm actually going to go enjoy Pyrrhus, or however you pronounce the name of this beautiful city. So, of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit that like button on your way out. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already. And, of course, also subscribe to my other channel, Jay the Nomad, because in 2 days, I do have vlogs of my time of my sailing in Greece on board Virgin Voyage's new ship, the Resilient Lady. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you later. Take it easy.